Today's recipe: take a fast-paced first-person shooter module, throw in hordes of bloodthirsty dinosaurs, make it a class-based cooperative experience over a giant evolving map, and get some of the developers who created the bombastic Just Cause titles in on the project. The result is Second Extinction, an ID at Xbox project that came out just for the Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S in-game preview, and also hit Game Pass on day one. We've played it for a handful of days now, and we're ready to share our experience. It's time to eradicate the dinosaurs all over again. Various popular projects throughout the years have opted for the game preview formula, which is akin to Steam's early access program, allowing developers to release a work-in-progress version of the game at a lower price and then use community feedback to get the game towards the much-awaited 1.0 version. It's a good way to support developers early, give important feedback, but also to get the game earlier and cheaper than the actual launch price. No surprises then that various successful Xbox games like Ark, Descenders or The Culling chose this distribution method to launch their evolving products. Hitting Game Pass at the same time should in theory guarantee the title a high influx of players and hopefully a long-lasting community, which is practically required for a co-op shooter like this. It's not even just an exaggeration, other players are almost mandatory as the game's balance has been built around the presence of 2 or 3 players. While it's technically possible to start a match solo, the chances of survival are rather low, as the difficulty isn't readjusted at all. Luckily, there's a convenient matchmaking option for those who don't have a couple of friends around to play such a title. But enough theory, let's finally dive into how Second Extinction actually plays. Players can choose from a selection of archetype characters, all with customizable abilities and gear, but with certain characteristics about them that never change. A heavy class with a minigun, a fast-paced light unit with grenades, you get the drill. The latter is the class that I personally specialised in. The main ability and weapon is fixed, but the sidearm can range from pistols to SMGs and beyond. Each player can also bring with themselves replenishable equipment to recover health, ammo, and with cooldowns on each individual ability, as is the case of co-op gaming, players should be smart to alternate them to make sure that all support equipment is available at any given time. Subsequently, there's also a selection of missions or a series of side activities from a fixed map, featuring a constantly evolving conflict between humans and the mutant dinosaurs that now rule the land. It's a slightly futuristic Earthscape, but aside from some lasers and rockets here and there, there's nothing too much out of the ordinary in terms of technology. The dinosaurs are a completely different subject. As players worldwide play through missions and complete events, certain regions of the map become less infested with dinosaurs, and thus safer to traverse, while others can see a pushback from the dinos who've nested in there and now rule the area. The level of intensity of each region also determines where players can drop or evacuate, which are both vital parts of a successful mission, as a missed evacuation denies all progress made within the activity. What immediately becomes noticeable as we touch the ground is how smooth, polished and exciting the core gameplay loop is in terms of movement, shooting and interacting with the environment. It's just a marvellously crafted first-person shooter module taking cues from the speed of titles like Titanfall with its traversal and gunplay, and all of this runs at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second both on Series X and S, with highly customizable sensitivity options and even a field of view slider. The slider allows players to move between the ridiculously low value of 30 all the way up to 130, just like your favourite arena shooters of yore. Hit markers indicate shots and deaths, empty magazines are signalled by a very clear sound, and every shot and action gets the correct feedback on screen, regardless of the weapon or skill used. The already extremely polished gameplay loop gels perfectly with the classes, each with complementary abilities that allow teams of up to 3 players to be quite devastating. On the default difficulty, even 2 players will find it moderately easy to bring the objective home, though the higher levels are much more daunting. Similarly, it shows very early on how the game has not been tailored for solo players. playing alone does not grant AI companions or difficulty nerfs, which makes it a ridiculously tough challenge, as all dinosaurs now target, well, you, and you've got no possibility of reviving yourself, and instead must immediately resort to the limited respawns instead. 6 main story missions and a variety of partially random generated events populate the snowy earthscape dominated by dinosaurs, with different classes, a variety of difficulties, and those classes that can be upgraded and customised. The replayability is already pretty high in this game preview version. Successfully evacuating in a mission grants all the materials and XP we've managed to collect in the expedition, which can then be used to upgrade all your weapons, change some abilities, unlock cosmetics like skins, calling cards, and even emotes. There's even expeditions unlocked at level 5 that serve XP and material boosts in exchange for completing challenges, such as eliminating a T-Rex or clearing a certain amount of pterodactyls with a shotgun. Think of them like challenges in a battle pass system, except without the pass. At least for now. From a technical point of view, the game certainly looks impressive for its relatively humble indie origins. The models for the dinos and weapons are quite polished, and even though the characters are a little bit less detailed, they all blend together well amongst the enjoyable scenery. Everything shines, figuratively and literally, thanks to the excellent light and particle systems on top of some really funny physics. Dinos react realistically to hits as they die to our shots, litres of blood are spilled and then maintained over the player character itself. A gorgeous day and night cycle with even the Aurora Borealis in place serves as the perfect lighting for these fast-paced battles that always look and feel really smooth, thanks to the excellent frame rate and general responsiveness of the game as well. The game, of course, does have its share of shortcomings. During my many sessions, I've encountered multiple technical issues and crashes that caused a fair bit of frustration. The variety of the dinosaurs and activities on map isn't currently that wide, which creates a gameplay loop that peaks early on and then hardly ever evolves, aside from the loadout updates and upgrades that you get in time. Though it may just be an independent project in game preview, it's already one of the better cooperative shooters out there, with some excellent shooting mechanics, good traversal, menacing dinos, and some really good graphics. It can currently be bought in game preview at the discounted price of €24.99, $24.99 US, or as a Brit might say, just over 20 quid mate. Which will grant you full access to the full version once it arrives, by the way. So it can be enjoyed as a day one release on Game Pass right now on Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC alike. Are you going to take on the dinosaurs? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this preview, be sure to leave a comment, hit subscribe, and stay tuned to XboxEra so you can be notified when we drop some fresh content. And we'll see you next time.